Well, do not think the new Monsters Inc. ride is going to be safe for human riding. First of all the former Imagineers that would have made the ride safe, completely gone. New Imagineers that don't know what the hell they're doing. Secondly, it will basically. I'm not going to this land. I'm not. I'd rather go to Star Wars Land, and that's the only one I'm going to. Monsters Inc. is freaking awful. The first movie was amazing, but the second prequel was awful. I didn't like the prequel movie because they ruined what was basically the original storyline. It was scaring is a big fat no-no, and that quote unquote, let's face facts, one gets the morals of the first movie and had a massive plot hole when in the first film they said they teach us in the grade. All of a sudden they never met until college. There's a massive plot hole, and they thought I was too dumb to notice even when I was like under 13. Guess what? I noticed. Guess what, Disney? I noticed. That plot hole is awful. That plot hole ruins the whole saga for me. Canon in my head canon. Regardless, so went forward with this park, even though they've not had a real film, a real sequel since 2001, the very first movie. They could have done an Inside Out Land, which granted, that would have been even more dangerous. Let's think about this. Inside Out Land would require you to be suspended in midair within the jump sects of certain parks. And that would not be safe. For the most part. Especially the whole inside of Riley's brain. I think Disney knew how unsafe that would be going in to this. And I think, but to be brutally honest, do I think this should have been in Hollywood Studios? No. Inside Out Land should have been in Hollywood Studios because that's a 5-part franchise. Toy Story. This should have immediately went to Epcot. Apparently, they think there should be an Epcot, and no. This is a terrible movie, and a movie I really didn't like. The prequel. The first one was okay, and actually was a decent movie, but it wasn't my childhood favorite. It was Finding Nemo, believe it or not, and I think it would be easy fucking money if they made a Finding Marlin. They already made Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. They just gotta complete the trilogy and make Finding Marlin. It'll forever be remembered as an actually decent franchise. Be easy fucking money. Like, easy fucking money. Aside from it being easy money, yes, I do not think this is gonna be safe. I'm still gonna label this as 13 plus. YouTube my age restricted anyways, but more people to know. You really think this is gonna be safe? A vertical coaster. You're suspended in mid-air indoors. That is not gonna be safe with the modern Disney talent. Sorry, but they're not experienced enough in producing rides, and as such, these things break down. There's like shit spewing into the sewers of Frontierland and to the restaurants of Epcot. You got entire issues at the park. Tree is growing out of the back of the Millennium Falcon. Crying out loud. You got like what? Like the parks are way too expensive. Much more lower of a value. That is way too like this is the thing, Dad. Right? I am going to Epic Universe with my dad. My dad wants to go to that trip so we could go to Harry Potter Land. All three. We go to Universal, Epic Universe Mainland, Dark Universe, which has a really cool ride I want to see. Mario Land, which isn't even the most hyped land. sure, it's great quality, but if that's quality expectation, How to Train Your Dragon Land is going to be goated. Keep in mind. So let's face facts. The Mario Land is interesting because that showcased how you can expect from universe. And lo and behold, we're actually getting talented Imagineers from Disney talent working on Epic Universe, and they're blowing minds. They laid them all off because they're white. Look at me. I'm white. Even though I have autism and ADHD, Disney would never hire me. Never. Would never hire me. And even if they did, it'd be a disaster, a travesty. Would it be safe for me to be hired at Disney? No. Hired at Sony at this rate. Granted, I do like Sony's nowadays. Times I like when I was a very small kid, and there was a time when I exclusively loved Sony. Late elementary school years. School years, I liked Sony and Nintendo. Sure, there was a time period when my teenage self like Sony in the high school, but then I got the PS5, and I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty fun. Well, granted, the PS4 Pro was a bit of a mess. Here's the PS4, amazing though. That was great energy. Last few years, the PS4, sure, they had great exclusive games. Most of the AAA games were getting microtransaction heavy to death. Now we're starting to see the death of like live services, and PS5 and PS5 Pro. They made the PS5 Pro more of a luxury model, which I'm okay with. PS5 normal is a normal model, that makes sense. I hope they keep that up somewhat with PS6. Just make sure the PS6 normal is affordable to like 500 at least. Or 600 at most. But this is the thing you gotta remember, right? Is the PS5 Pro is a luxury model, and I'm thinking about getting an old one reason. Most battery replacement, easily replaceable, avoiding the warranty. That's all the reason why I'm thinking about getting it. Because of that CMOS battery replacement, so I could prolong my games. However, you gotta keep in mind that even though we have still had a rocky history with Sony, but it's starting to look brighter at the second. Disney. And same goes for Nintendo. I had a rocky history early years of Nintendo, but it became really bright with the Switch stuff. Atari too, but they're starting to look brighter. Warner Bros. That's a dark future, but only because they're committing suicide. They need the suicide prevention hotline on Warner Bros. Yeah, that's gonna be a whole video. Just watch. But Disney, no, they would never hire me because of my white skin. They wouldn't care if I was autistic or have ADHD at all, at freaking all. They wouldn't. This is why I think I would probably be better working at Epic Universe if I had to. Aside from that side topic, let's get into the right. Look at the How to Train Your Dragon ride. You will be suspended midair. It's gonna be like a normal coaster. And these people are talented, so I trust them. Harry Potter will have a similar vertical lift in the third Wizarding World Land, but I think they'll be able to pull it off because doors, but they'll be able to pull it off the other thing because they know what the hell they're doing over Epic Universe now. Universe ride, new Tower of Terror now, absolutely goated. Mario Land, despite Mario Kart and the Yoshi ride not being, Yoshi's ride is just Ferris wheel ride. The Mario Kart ride is an interactive one. Now, if it wasn't interactive, now here's the thing about the interactive Mario ride. Could have been dangerous if they didn't make you. They actually didn't have any of the dangerous stunts. They didn't. That's good. The only thing that's dangerous about it, you do kind of have to play around and You kind of have to make sure that you kind of have to compete against all the other players, which, granted, is a little hard. Better, actually. It's not that dangerous. But I digress. Mario Land first, because I will do an update on this video. Monsters Inc. Land and the whole Epic Universe stuff is made. Compare all 4 Epic Universe parks to Monsters Inc. Land and Galaxy's Edge. Storyland included, though Toy Story Land was built when they were back when they had the Imagineers back at their parks, so I'll go easy on Toy Story Land, okay? So, Mario Land, right? Looks like a grand spanking, like you're immersed in the world. Not only does it look like you're immersed in the world, it looks like the textures on the everything about it is high quality. Everything feels like Mario. There's no secret stuff in the distance that they don't want to hide. You're like a mundane real life world. That is what I want out of a Harry Potter land, How to Train Your Dragon land, and horror theme land. And I think it'll benefit the horror theme land most. Harry Potter land second most. How to Train Your Dragon is also, I think, could benefit a lot from it as well. If that's the case, Disney World's starting to look boring in my eyes. Legoland is boring because it's based off of a toy, sure. Disney World, you're up with some serious competition. There's no way you can compete against Epic Universe with it. Looking at it, it's just going to be a Monsters Inc. themed version of your typical Disney experience. Buildings and shit. Like something a little more imaginative, like a castle, roadhouse, or Viking hut, or any of the things that they do at Dark Universe or Stein or Harry Potter Land. If that's the case, what happens when Universal makes a 4th other gate on top of Epic Universe? What happens if they make another gate and let's just say partner with Sony to make a Horizon Land? Something along those lines. Imagine a theme park like an Epic Universe style land. Or Horizon. Zero Dawn. That would be insane. Or in Epic Universe alone, let's just say they add Zelda and Donkey Kong, Kirby and other properties eventually. Epic Universe. They could do a lot of good things there. Harry Potter could add stuff too. And they're doing a good job with that, making it feel like you're in the world. That you're in the world of the movie. Not a version of the world that they were making for a park. What I'm saying? Make the people feel like they're in the world of the movie. Not out of the world in a version of that world. That is why I think this is going to be a little bit of an issue of a park, because it doesn't look at all like that. I swear. The reason why I think the whole franchise. Only so yeah, I am gonna compare these parks. I can. They're Epic Universe and praise it heavily. If I have to critique the Monsters Inc. land, especially if I'm put in danger and I'm bended in midair on a vertical lift. Because they're incompetent and somebody like me almost died on that. I'm going to give that a bad review. Tiana's Bayou Adventure may be easy to hack or evacuate. Rise Resistance even easier. But if you give us something so hard to evacuate, like, say, this new Monsters Inc. ride, that is what's scaring me. And it's edgy, too, that people would even think this would be appropriate. Yes, the scaring thing was intended because, in mine, it is intended with Monsters Inc. It's about scariness on Monsters Inc., isn't it? That's the problem about Monsters Inc. Land. Toy Story Land, I think because they knew what they were doing. If I had to go to one other land other than Star Wars Land, it'd have to be Toy Story. Monsters Inc., I'll only do that if I'm given a free ticket to Disney World. A lot cheaper prices, somehow. Yes. If that happens, I will also go to Epic Universe. I will review this, and I will make sure where they can improve. If I hear any reports on Walt Disney World Pro about it breaking down, I swear I will lower my review score. If that happens. Be very careful. Maybe don't launch it with the Monsters Inc. ride. Okay? That would be a better idea. Bye.